legends. If you are new to BLegendBotanica, our YouTube channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be in front of you guys. If you guys are already a part of our tribe of legends, so family, you already know what the fuck is up. I'm just so excited to be here to talk to you guys today, and I have a very interesting topic that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about retrogrades. Okay, everybody is always freaking out about retrogrades. Everybody is always kind of just making it seem like it's this really, really big thing. Like you can't do this in a retrograde and you shouldn't do that in a retrograde, and in this retrograde you should stay home, and in this retrograde you can only eat orange foods. Like, I just want to just make it a little bit more clear as to what retrogrades are, and just very simple ways to tell how to use these retrogrades to your highest advantage based off of what's in retrograde and what these planets or these asteroids or what these stars are known for. Okay? All right, let's get to it. So, first of all, let's go over the definition of a retrograde. So, a retrograde literally just means directed or moving backwards. If you look up the definition for a retrograde, it's going to say directed or moving backwards, okay? Also, I want to mention that retrogrades are an illusion, okay? We know that the earth is rotating. Everything is rotating around the sun, right? You'll never hear us talk about Earth retrograde. You'll hear a lot about every other planet, every other star, every other comet or asteroid. You'll hear a lot of these things are going into retrograde at certain points within the year or multiple points within a year. But never are we going to ever say that Earth is retrograding. Now, why? Is it that Earth is the only one that doesn't retrograde? No. That's why I say that retrogrades are an illusion, because retrogrades have to do with our perspective from Earth. So it's not even necessarily that these planets, asteroids, stars, comets are moving backwards. It's not that they're necessarily moving backwards. It's that they appear to be moving backwards from our perspective on Earth. I think when I found that out, I was like, mind blown. Everything just kind of made sense. It's about perspective, right? We can understand that all of these different aspects, right, that can go into retrograde. We understand how they can affect us from our perspective here on Earth. And when they appear to be moving backwards, that energy has a different kind of effect on us. And from my experience, what I've noticed is when these planets I need to find like just a general word. I'm gonna say planets, just to keep it very general, but just know that when I say planets, it could of course also be other aspects like stars, it can be comets, it can be asteroids. Like, I'm going to mention Chiron, which is technically not a planet. We have some construction going on outside, so we're just gonna just let them do they big one outside. So yeah, Chiron isn't necessarily a planet, but just to like save breath and energy, I'm just gonna use the general term planet, right? When they seem to be moving backwards from our perspective on Earth, we know that that can, it almost gives us like the energy of going and rethinking things, or just taking a little bit more time um to look at what we've built, look at how we've been moving, and make any changes if necessary. So it's giving very much Virgo energy. Even though Virgo doesn't necessarily fit comfortably into each planet, it's still giving very much Virgo energy to me, because it's the energy of, okay, I might have to hermit for a minute, rethink, plan, and then come back out, rip me out the plastic because I'm about to act brand new type of energy. So let's talk about the planets that are currently in retrograde. So we have Pluto, we have Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Mercury, and Chiron, which is not a planet, it is a asteroid, I'm pretty sure. Um, so these are 7 different planets in an asteroid, right? That are in retrograde from our perspective on Earth. Now, what in the hell? What in the fuck does that even mean in the first place? Well, the easiest way for you to break it down is if you have a general knowledge about what these planets do, right? So Pluto is the planet of like shadow work, transformation. It could be the underworld. The Pluto is the planet of the underworld, most definitely. But so can Saturn. Saturn can be considered the planet of the underworld as well. The planet of karma, the planet of hard lessons, but also the planet of building stability. Both Pluto and Saturn, I think they go hand in hand, and they both help you build that stability, right? So when you think about planets like this moving backwards, okay, well, you might start to go through some really, really hard times if you have spent a long period of time building a reality based in things that are not necessarily sustainable. um Even if you will, things that are lies. So not even necessarily that you know that you are building a life based off of lies, but if you have been around a lot of people or a lot of groups that have been feeding you things that are not true during a Pluto or during a Saturn retrograde, is a time where them planets is going to be smacking you in the head and you're gonna be like, oh my god, but it's because that tower does not have a good foundation. So if it doesn't have a good foundation, the planets of transformation and the underworld and shadow work, those planets are now going to be on your head to let you know, hey, this is not working. We need to rework this. We need to rethink this. We need to come together and we need to regroup. I don't want it to be like the planets are just like on our head, you know, like like it's not necessarily that they are going to be beating us up, and it doesn't always feel like that. It doesn't always feel like you just getting your shit rocked. Like, so let me put that out there. It's not always going to feel like you getting your shit rocked. um for example, like Uranus is the planet of spontaneity, just things just popping up. It can be also the planet of expansion as well with Jupiter, but it's really the planet of, it can be like kind of chaotic neutral, because it's just things are just gonna pop up. Like I am an Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. um I'm almost positive. I need to go double check that. But Aquarius, I feel like, is ruled by Uranus, so it's just always something. It's always something popping up, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is bad. It can also be a lot of blessings, or it could be a lot of blah. It could just be it could be a lot of options, and you have the option to say yes or no to a lot of different things. In a Uranus retrograde, you might get way more options than you usually are used to. You might have an opportunity to make way more money in your business than you usually do. Why? Because you just got customers popping up out the ass. People might be more willing to scroll and actually stop and look at your content. It is different ways to work with these energies. If you know what the planets are about, if you know the general energy of these planets and how they interact with not even just interact with each other, but how they affect us, right? And of course how they interact with each other, especially when we have this many planets going into retrograde at one time, right? Of course they're going to interact with each other, and that's going to affect all of us differently based off of our birth charts. But if you work with these planets, you will more than likely be able to make more informed decisions about how to move. So for instance, we just got into Jupiter retrograde not too long ago on September the 4th. Today is September the 7th, I believe. So we are very fresh in our Jupiter retrograde, just coming out of Venus retrograde. Well, Venus, we know, is the planet of love. It is Venus rules Taurus. Taurus loves comfortability. Taurus loves love. Taurus loves luxury and beauty and just things that is giving Nine of Cups energy. It's giving just comfort with everything that I've built, comfort in my stability, comfort in sleep, like, just making sure I'm comfortable. Like, I don't care about nothing else, I just want to be comfortable type of vibes, right? So Venus retrograde really had us looking at what we've built. It had us looking at our lives. It had us looking at our relationships, not even just our romantic relationships, but our platonic relationships, and more importantly, our relationships with ourselves. And Venus retrograde had us questioning, is this real? Is this something that is stable? Is this something that you really want? Is this something that, if things are, coming into play, like certain, what would you say, like difficulties, if certain difficulties are coming into the way, are you willing to just give up? If you are, well, maybe you want to try something else. That's what Venus retrograde challenged us with. Venus retrograde challenged us with our self-love. It made us look at the depths of things that happened in our childhood. It made us look at past relationships to compare them to the relationships that we have now. And it even made us look at our past relationships to understand why we are the way that we are right now. So that, boom, once we got out, and we immediately, almost immediately hopped into Jupiter retrograde, right? And we know that Jupiter is the planet of expansion, the planet of abundance, the planet of big, huge blessings. Now that we've done all of that inner work, to know who we are, to know how we got to this place, to understand our relationships better, to cut off some relationships and to build some more relationships with a stronger foundation. Now that we got out of that, and now that we're in the retrograde of the planet of expansion, well, now we are able to really look at everything and say, okay, yes, this, I really love this, I'm glad that I kept this, let me pour into this so that this can grow, right? Let me make sure that I starve this so that this can die. Listen, I feel like the words are harsh, but let's not get into a battle of semantics, because we know that in order to release certain things, you do have to starve it, as far as like not giving it energy. That's what I mean when I say starving something. So yes, the planets, they work with each other, they work with us to help us know how to move, and how to make better decisions for ourselves, so that we not just like, feeling like we getting rocked by life, right? Neptune is the planet of illusions. Neptune rules Pisces. It can be very dreamy, but sometimes dreamy to the point where it's like you're not really thinking all that logically. You kind of just in your fantasy world. Sometimes that's really good if you are working on, like visualizing, manifesting. You want to be very specific with the things that if you are working on manifesting while visualizing, you want to be very specific down to the T. If you are manifesting a garden and visualizing your garden, you want to even, like, think about the colors of your garden, and the colors of the flowers in your garden, or the colors of the fruits, the order of the flowers. Okay, I want the edible flowers over here and the non-edible flowers over here, and these, like, root vegetables, I want these over here, but then the ones that are going into flower, I want to put them over here. You want to be very specific about that, right? Now, in a Neptune retrograde, you want to be very, very cognizant about being, also using your wisdom, because a lot of things you might just feel like you are waiting on. I know a lot of us do this too. We feel like we might be waiting on spirit to do something, and meanwhile the whole time spirit is like, baby, I'm waiting on you. Is you gonna move, or you gonna sit in your fantasy? And it's okay to sit in our fantasy, but it started feeling like a ghetto fantasy. Fantasy, ghetto fantasy, when it's like you are you aren't necessarily taking the actions to materialize what you envisioned. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And we're currently in the middle of a Neptune retrograde, so I know for sure that you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes Neptune retrograde, I feel like this season specifically, while Neptune was in retrograde and we were also in a Venus retrograde, that really hit a lot of us hard when we were looking at our relationships. And Saturn was coming in like, you ready? You ready to acknowledge the truth? No? Okay. We gonna come back. You want me to tag team Pluto? Okay. And then Mercury came in like, you ready to talk about it? You know what I'm saying? The planets, they all interact with each other. I really feel like the planets be tag teaming us. I really do, because they got to get the job done, right? If you are constantly asking to be on the path for your highest good, know that the planets are definitely working with you. These retrogrades are not telling you to stay home, to not do this, to not do that. What they are asking you to do is to understand the energy that is currently here, so that you can make the best decisions for yourself, right? So if you know right now we are currently in Mercury retrograde, if you know that Mercury is the planet that rules communication, it rules technology, it rules the way that we are communicating not only with each other, but the way that we communicate with ourselves, the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we think about ourselves. And you know, it rules, like when I say technology, it could be beyond just like phones and computers, but also like cars, trains, buses, things like that, right? So if I know that it's supposed to be a storm outside, I'm not gonna wait to the last minute to start getting ready to go to work. I'm going to get ready a little bit earlier, because if I go outside and something is going on with my car, you know what I'm saying? Like, I at least now I have a little bit more time. If I am applying for jobs during a Mercury retrograde, I'm going to make sure that I read those emails, and I'm going to make sure that I go over my resume that I just made changes to. I'm going to go over it 3, 4, 5 times, and I might even send it to a friend so that they can check over it for me. Why? Because I know that we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde. I know that rules communication. And I know that right now that communication and technology, those things can be kind of wonky. So I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure that I am working with this energy. Not necessarily saying that everything is always going to be bad, but I think it really just gives us the opportunity to be thorough. And I think that's the thing about retrogrades that I really love. Over time, I've just gotten to the point where I noticed that these retrogrades are asking us to be more thorough. And a lot of times in life, we just moving, doing, you know, acting, decision here, decision there. Oh, I got to make it quick. Da, 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 da. You know, we feel like we have to do everything so quick. And retrogrades are often asking us to slow down, to think about things, to rethink things, to rework things, to take a little bit more time here. Make sure this is really good. It's just helping us to build a more solid foundation. Yes. The last thing that I want to talk about, I think I pretty much hit every planet. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is Chiron, right? So we know that Chiron is often called the wounded healer. Chiron rules like our inner child. It rules, well, let me not say rules, but it's associated with our inner child. It's associated with the way that we love and the way that we want to be loved, the way that we receive love, or the ways that we have trouble receiving love, right? Because it's the wounded healer. Chiron retrograde really has us doing a lot of self work, really has us doing a lot of introspection about what we are worth, right? So, in the midst of a Jupiter and Uranus and Saturn and Pluto and Mercury retrograde, we are looking at our careers, we are looking at our relationships, our interrelationships, and our inner relationships and our interrelationships. We're looking at our relationships with ourselves and our relationships with other people. We're looking at our business relationships. We're looking at our platonic relationships. We're looking at all of these different aspects of ourselves that can heal us, but they can also at the same time feel like they can really cause a lot of or not even cause, but they can trigger a lot of old trauma for us, right? When we are looking at Chiron retrograde in the midst of Pluto and Saturn retrograde, we are looking at our boundaries. We are looking at the way that we talk to people and the way that we accept people speaking to us, the way that we expect people to deal with us, and the way that we accept people treating us, right? That is very much Chiron energy. um Even when it comes to like jobs, right? So notice when I'm saying people, I'm not just talking about like friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, or life partner, however you want to say it. It's very much also in our career life, in our work life, because I feel like a lot of times we don't necessarily count those as relationships, but sometimes those are the most toxic relationships. Your relationship with your manager is sometimes can be the most toxic relationship that you have, and it can just really just completely drain you. Or if you have a very good relationship with your manager, it can make you so excited to go to work it doesn't even feel like work. So it can really be on both sides of the spectrum. But we know that Chiron is associated with our wounded healer, so it's the way that we give out love and we kind of expect it from people, but then when we get it back, we kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is real. Please wait a minute. So Chiron retrograde really has us looking at ourselves like, why do I feel this way? How do I want to receive love? How can I speak more? This is a Mercury too. How can I speak more life into myself so that I can actually receive the love that I want to receive in a positive way, and it doesn't feel like like nails on a chalkboard, me trying to accept this love. What are ways that my inner child is begging for me to venerate it or venerate them? What are things that my divine masculine would like me to do for it so that it can continue to produce? What are things that my divine feminine needs for me to do so that it can continue to nurture me and speak life into me and grow me and help me to grow myself into the person that I am slowly but surely becoming, right? Even if it's not, even if you don't want to say slowly, even that I'm quickly becoming, because everything comes to me with ease, right? So yeah, guys, I hope that helps. Just know that retrogrades are not, it's not even really a thing. Like, I don't want to say it's not real, but it's kind of not real because it's really just an illusion. It has everything to do with our perspective from Earth, right? That's why we never talk about Earth retrograde. Now, Earth, if you were to be on Mars, you might just see a Earth. It might look like Earth is retrograding, and then you might come back and coin the term Earth retrograde, right? But you will almost have to live on Mars to like really track that and see that. So I don't know. But this is really about the planets and the different comets, stars, asteroids appearing to move backwards from the perspective of Earth, right? So if you know the energy of the planet, think about that planet like backtracking, right? Or not even just backtracking, but kind of like going back to the basics to rethink everything that you've been doing. The planets are now in a different perspective, right? So now if they were going backwards, it's almost like, okay, let me just look back. Let me take a blast to the past. We gonna look at all of this stuff and we're about to assess it. Okay? And you are assessing whatever the energy of the planet is pertaining to. I hope that this helped, because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, myths, and untruths about retrogrades, and we just kind of act like retrogrades are evil when I think the epitome of retrogrades are super helpful. Without retrogrades, what would we do? Like, what would we do? We would just be in a constant, like, we would be in a constant illusion that we're moving forward, where really what is forward if you can't look backwards and be able to assess what even is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need that. That's why we always say, like, you need to understand the past to build a better future. That's kind of what retrogrades are giving. Retrogrades are giving that same energy. You need to study, learn, and understand the past so that you can make better decisions for the future and build a better future. Okay, I love you guys. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, whatever day that you are watching this. I hope that you are not letting these retrogrades get you down. I hope that you are taking advantage of the energy. And even if you were struggling, I hope that this video definitely helped you so that you can take more advantage of it in the future, starting today. Okay. I love you guys. Shout out to all 28 subscribers that are subscribed to this page. You guys are the absolute best. If you have not subscribed to this page, what are you doing? Subscribe to the page so that you can keep up with all of the motivational and inspirational content. We have new short meditations coming out. They are getting better and better, guys. Do not sleep on the short meditations tab. The playlist is getting real. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. We stay with it, okay? Don't play with the short meditations. Also, you guys are amazing. I pray for you guys. I just want you guys to know that I really, really love you guys. Everybody that subscribes to the page, just continue to take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and make sure that you are staying up, staying 10 toes, and of course, staying legendary. Don't forget to like this video if it resonated with your soul. Also, you can comment below to let us know what specifically resonated with you. If you don't want to comment anything, that's fine. Feel free to shoot us an email and let us know. Also, if you are looking for personal readings, if you are looking for spiritual coaching, we also do dream interpretations. We have some candles here, okay? We do candles. We do a lot of things. It's a whole botanica, okay? The website is under construction, but it will be back up and better before we know it. So until then, just send us an email with whatever you would like. But again, the services are personal readings. We are doing spiritual coaching. If you have any spiritual questions, and also dream interpretations. Okay, guys, I love you. Take care, stay legendary, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.